What's up, guys? Welcome to the Behind the Golf Brand podcast. This week, I have my good friend Matt Mahoney from Clinch Golf. Clinch Golf is a golf glove brand that has recently come out in the last couple of years. It's a new type of technology and a new type of glove, which you're not really seeing because a lot of gloves out there are been around for 100 years and they fall apart all the same way. So it's really kind of cool to have Matt on the show, talk about what they're doing, how they're different, and why you should check them out. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Paul. Good to see you, bud.
So where are you located?
I am joining you from sunny Portland, Oregon today.
Nice. Is it a nice day out there? Looks like it's a nice day out there.
It is. Yeah, it's lovely.
It's like always nice in Portland. When is it ever not nice in Portland?
Well, 6 months of the year. We have 6 months of guaranteed
Really?
good weather, and then we have 6 months of rain.
So when's the rain season? Like what months is that?
It probably starts mid to late October.
And then it goes until April.
Yeah.
Rains and rains and rains.
April, May, sometimes through July 4th.
Does it ever snow there?
Yeah, we usually get one snowstorm a year. We get about an inch of snow. Chaos in the city.
Actually,
School
like, what do we
shut down,
do?
and then it melts by noon.
That's like when it's in Arizona. We get like one rainstorm and everyone gets like, oh, what do we do? It's rain. Like, I don't know how to turn windshield wipers on. I want to drive super slow on the street. It's like, dude, it's rain. Like, come on now. So did you grow up in Oregon?
I did not. I'm originally from Burlington, Vermont, where we have considerably more snow.
That's really far from where.
It
How'd
is
you
far.
get to Oregon?
Well, my wife is from Portland, so I usually don't need to explain much further. But
there you go.
The sidebar to that is you can play 12 months of golf in Oregon, and you certainly can't do that in New England, where I came from.
No, like you like what, 3 months, maybe 4 if you're lucky.
Yeah. That might be a little extreme, but yeah, five good months, and that's it.
From like June to maybe early October, September. Yeah, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, you live in Arizona? You can play golf all year round." I'm like, "Yeah, you can," but it's like really, rates don't go down now until the middle of May, and so you have May, June, July, August, when it's like 1,000 degrees outside, so you can play cheap golf, but it's so hot, like you're dying. And then they reseed in October, so you can't play golf in October, and then it's like rates go 5 times as much for the rest of the year till like May again. But
I guess I'll give you the true origin story of how I wound up in Portland. We were living in New England. My wife wanted to move home to be near her family, and I came on a trip in February, and I snuck in a trip to Bandon Dunes with some friends, and that's what sealed the deal for me.
Really? You're like, oh, wait a minute. If
I can do this in February, I can consider living here. Yeah.
So, all right. So, are you a golf professional?
I am not. No, I am just a avid golfer.
What's your handicap?
I am a 7.5.
So you're good, dude.
Yeah, this is my line. This is what I say to people. I say, if you suck at golf, you probably think I'm really good. But if you're really good at golf, you probably think I suck.
That's true. That's very true. It's all perspective. Like, I never really had my handicap until like a year ago, and I'm like, I'm really gonna figure this out. And I was terrible, like a lot worse than I thought I was. And then like I was a 24, and then I started practicing a lot and started getting lessons, and I got the right clubs, the right length, the whole 9 yards. And now I'm a 15, 16 right now. I want to get down to single digit, hopefully by the end of the year. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that's my goal at least. Yeah. Or I'll do it next year. I don't know. It's possible. It's all about short game, I feel like, really. If you can dial in your short game, yeah, that's where
it certainly helps. Yeah.
So, how'd you get into golf? Like, did your family play a lot of golf, or did your dad, or what's the story?
Yeah, I grew up. My dad did play golf and attempted to get me into it when I was young, but it didn't really click for me. I learned to swing a little bit, but was just into other sports. And it was really in my post-college years when I finally had some money coming in and some free time that I started golfing, and had a good crew of buddies that got into it at the same time, and really caught the bug for it then in my sort of early to mid 20s.
So you grew up in Vermont, right? So like, did you play golf like on the golf team, or you just kind of barely played and you're like, this isn't my sport really, I don't really care?
I played 1 year of golf my senior year on the golf team, but I was not a good golfer, and the golf
At least you
team.
made the team, bro. That's cool. Like I
Yeah,
didn't.
the making the team meant showing up in the cafeteria.
Oh, that was
And
like all right. That was like,
it
bro.
was
My
not
high
even
school, like Ches Reevy went to my high school. Like it was like my dad was like, you need to practice more. I'm like, nah, I got this. And then I got just fucking smoked. I was
yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I gotta really take this seriously. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So whatever. I wish I did
The
though.
only claim to
Actually,
fame from my high school golf team is that a friend of mine, Laddie Klein, we call him Laddie the Caddy, is now full time on the PGA Tour, and has made a living of it. So we're proud of him.
oh, that's cool. So you grew up in Vermont. Where did you go to college?
I went to Champlain College, which is in Burlington, Vermont.
And then what's your background? Like, what did you get your degree in?
So
Business.
business marketing, yeah, and I've sort of boringly I've worked in banking most of my career, which is you
My
get
wife
a
does
job,
that. Okay,
keep getting
that's all
promoted,
good.
yeah.
So when you got out of college, then like, what were you doing for banking? Marketing or just business development?
Started entry level, but I've always done a few things on the side as well and try to scratch the entrepreneurial itch. But
Like what? Like what was your first entrepreneurial thing you did?
well, I flipped a couple of houses with some friends because that was the trend back in the early 2000s.
2012.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
2010.
attempted,
Actually, not like 2005,
yeah,
2006. That was you could make some good money doing flipping.
I attempted
Good.
to found a wristwatch brand that
Really?
I never went anywhere and floundered, but it was a big learning experience for me.
So tell me about that. So like, how did you even like come up with that idea?
A friend and I had read an article about someone else that had done it, and we became convinced that we could emulate their success. And we put a bunch of time and the few bucks into it, and got a bunch of product and created a
Where'd you get this
website and
from?
whole story behind
Oh,
it.
hold
And
on, hold on. So
it
where do
never
you
got
get this
traction.
product from? Like overseas? Like some like what?
Yeah. You can source anything from overseas if you
Yeah.
hard enough on Alibaba.
And then you're like, so how many did you order when you first got your watches?
Oh, I forget, like 1,500 watches or something like that.
Oh Jesus, that's
Took a
so
bite
many.
off. Yeah.
So how'd you
And
try to sell them on your website, or did you
yeah, I
like
tried
where
to
did you
sell
try
them
to
on
sell
our
them at?
website with no real, this is back in 2008 or so, like back before there were any sort of
There was no
tools to do it.
Shopify, it's like a
Shopify
WordPress site or
existed, but
like
there was no
something
tools to
cheesy.
market it. There was no, Meta to run ads on, and so we
There
just,
was nothing.
yeah, came to a grinding halt and liquidated our inventory. So, but good,
Hey,
good.
but see, like I feel
Entrepreneurial,
like that's
yeah,
like I love hearing these stories because it's just like how like I feel like how you build, right? Like you learn something from that. Okay, then you try the next one. Oh, I learned something from that, and like you might lose money, you might win, whatever, not win, but like make money, and you kind of I don't know get to the right product, and that's the hard. I think it's the hardest part, right? Like figuring that process out.
yeah, yeah.
So what else? Okay, so you had a wristwatch company. Then what happened? What else you got?
So then, back to banking and, starting a family and just, grinding it out for several years of just, being a career man.
So then, what year did you guys move to Oregon?
I moved to Oregon 9 years ago. So that would have been around 2014, I believe it
14,
was
13?
13 or 14.
And then at that point, were you that you had already kind of bit the bug, and you're saying like you went to Bandon and you were like completely blown away by it, and you're like,
I was
whoa,
blown away by it. Yes. And
that's
most
what I've
people that have been
heard.
there would understand. It's just, it's a golf paradise.
Why? For the people who haven't been there.
Yeah, well, it's there are now five terrific courses that are all, first of all, they're so distinct and different from the typical golf we play in the States, but they just create this unique experience. It's in the middle of nowhere. Portland is the largest metro area to it, but it still takes me 4 hours to drive there.
Really? Is that far? I didn't
It's
know
truly
that.
remote. Yeah. But when you get there, it's turnkey. You can park your car. They shuttle you everywhere. You're just totally taken care of. You're immersed in golf. Like it's not a resort with, like you'd have.
Pools and kids running
Yeah,
around and
no,
like
it's all
everything.
golf related. But there's fantastic, when you're not playing golf, there's fantastic golf amenities. They've got the Punch Bowl, which is a giant putting green with severe undulations and a mobile
Really?
bar cart. So you and your crew can set up
Oh my
there,
God, dude.
put a few bucks on the putts, and there'll be, in the afternoon, if it's a sunny day, you'll have just hundreds of people out there, having a few.
How big is this putting green? Like,
I mean,
honestly,
massive. I mean,
like
uh,
huge,
like I don't, I'm not
like a
great at
football
thinking
field.
like at least as big as a football field. Yeah,
For
yeah,
reals? Holy
massive.
crap,
Yeah,
dude.
it's got two 18-hole courses, and when I say they undulate, I mean it's like a carnival ride. Your ball slides. Can be a triple breaker, and it's a lot of fun.
I say like, yeah, I want to go so bad, dude. I have no idea. I gotta do it. I want to do it. Like, it's on my bucket list of courses to go play. Hopefully the
Yeah,
next year or so. So, you move into Portland, and then what were you still working in banking when you decided to start Clinch, or like what did you do?
yeah. I was working in banking, and that's exactly what I was doing when I decided to start Clinch.
Was it like a side thing, like
It
another
was.
side
Yep.
business?
Yep.
So then
Early.
how'd you start that?
So I guess the origin is really started with my dissatisfaction with leather gloves. I just basically in any condition, I think leather gloves. My opinion is that they feel great, out of the envelope when you put them on, but um, they they've got a number of flaws. They don't react well to moisture. They don't stretch back. They wear out way too quickly. And so it
They
occurred to me,
rip, they dry out,
they dry out, they
they
turn into beef
break,
jerky. They feel great at the
they're
beginning of the
expensive.
round, but if
Yeah,
you get a little bit of sweat, a little bit of moisture from rain or a frosty beverage or whatever it may be, they just don't
absorbs
work.
it.
They don't work as a gripping material any longer, and they don't, and they're slow to dry out. So there was a host of issues with them, and I just kind of became convinced that there was, in this age of like modern performance materials, where everything we have, like stretches and wicks and is antimicrobial. There had to be a better material to make a glove out of. Is what set me off on this journey.
So what year was that when you started thinking about that?
That was like early pandemic era, so about 3 years ago.
So were you playing more golf during the pandemic?
Yeah,
I feel
I'd say
like
it was. Yeah, it was lovely. Wasn't a lovely time, but it was a lovely time for golf because
it
uh,
was a lovely time
you
of
know
year.
work was remote, and
And you're in banking, so like it's not like
yeah,
go
there were a
anywhere.
couple of crunch times, so there was a lot going on, and the golf courses were remained open, and they were crowded, but I was super grateful to have that as an outlet, because a lot of people didn't have anything positive to do during that time. So
So you started playing more golf, and then like how did you? All right, so you realized there was a problem, or you felt there was a problem,
yeah,
which I don't disagree. And so like, how did you bridge that gap? Like, I mean, you're in banking, so you're not a
yeah,
designer by trade, right?
yeah.
So like, how did you go about doing that? What
So
happened?
that's really where serendipity comes in. I met my now business partner. His name is Jason Del Sodato, and I met him through golf, and kind of shared my frustration with leather, and shared my idea with him. And he was a guy that first of all, he agreed with me, and shared the same experiences with leather gloves, and he was also a guy that was able to kind of make the product happen.
So then, how'd you meet Jason?
I just met him through just playing at a local golf
Playing
club.
golf?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah.
So you guys so you met him at a golf course, or just like, or what? Or just
Yeah.
through like your crew
Yeah.
of,
We
of
met up, and then
bros?
we had our kind of first business meeting at he lives in Portland as well. We're on the opposite side of town. So we picked a neutral ground coffee shop, and I came equipped with my ideas, and uh, we met for about an hour and a half, and we determined that we had a path forward. So it was pretty great.
So what's Jason's background?
So Jason's background is in product development. So he worked for Nike previous to the Clinch gig for over a decade, and prior to that, he worked for Burton Snowboards. And he has just developed a lot of product. He worked for Nike basketball and skateboarding, and has just extensive experience working with different materials, working with the factories that can make those bring those materials to life, and just knew a lot about what properties we needed, and frankly had the connections to get us samples and
get it going, right?
start
Like he had the
testing.
knowledge of the
Yeah,
product, or he had the knowledge of the materials, and could actually get samples made and know who to go to. And I mean, that's huge, right? Because I think that's a
yeah,
big gap that always has to be filled, because people think like, oh, like Matt and I were talking before the show, like I did gloves once. That was a terrible mistake because they sucked.
yeah,
And but like if you're new to something like this, like you don't know, like you just try to, like I don't know, it's hard. It's
yeah,
especially hard. Um, I
yeah.
guess go ahead.
I was sidebar before I met Jason and I was exploring this idea. I went to a like apparel manufacturing course that exists here in Portland, and there was a bunch of you know various women that had ideas for designer lines or whatever. And so I talked to my idea about gloves, and the reaction I got was like, "Ooh, do you know how hard it is to sew a glove?" So the idea of doing it as a DIY project was out the window there. So I really needed someone that had the connections to get one made. Yeah, gloves are tricky.
So did you like bring it up while you guys were playing golf once or something? Like seriously?
Yeah,
How,
yeah. I mean, just yeah,
really?
yeah. I brought it up with it was
Everybody would listen.
a frequent complaint of mine.
Man, this glove sucks. I wish somebody was new design. Oh, I know design. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, you see people that have the
Oh
have
yeah,
the
riffs right here on the
and
palm.
you're
Yeah,
on.
or it
I've seen
starts
people on the
wearing
tee
down.
box, or I've seen people on the driving range before they even tee off, and they've got half a hole worn there. That
And
may
by the
be
time they're
from
the fifth hole, it's like completely ripped, and now it's complete trash.
yeah, yeah. So
Freaking crazy.
grip and durability are really the core of what we were trying to solve for.
All right, so then you guys started this up going in what 2020 during the pandemic?
Yeah, well,
Like what
we
year?
worked on it for forgive me because my recollection of what year
That's
is
fine.
what is fuzzy coming out of
Dude,
the
that like
pandemic.
I feel like the pandemic is like a black hole. Like I cannot do math.
Yeah,
Like I have like thoughts at pre 2019. Like oh yeah, it was 2018, whatever. Not
yeah.
even 2020, 2021. I don't remember anything.
But we launched the product in May of 2022, so we're just over a year old now. But we worked on it for I'd say approximately 18 months, nearly 2 years before we launched.
And so then during that time, like what were you guys trying to do? Like what
Well,
like
the first thing we did was we connected with a factory that makes gloves for some other brands, and so they had some. We knew they had the technical capabilities, and we provided them with a list of materials that we wanted to test out. So first they sent us swatches, and then we reviewed, I don't know, dozens of swatches of materials, and we sort of felt them by hand and tested them with, um, for how quickly they dry or whatever. And then we sent them several different iterations that we wanted them to sample for us. And so the factory worked with us and did some sampling. And we went to work. We had some friends who were like-minded, and we did a bunch of testing, and we had spreadsheets and questions and answers and lots of stuff. And we kind of landed on a material that we liked. And then sort of simultaneously, we were looking for an actual designer that could design the glove for us. And so so here in Portland, we live in sort of a hotbed of footwear and apparel business. So
big
fortunately, we found
ones?
a local who worked for another, let's just call it major company in town here, who was
They make
willing to.
shoes.
Yeah, they do make shoes. Yeah. Um,
Oh wow, that could
who
be.
was willing, who had experience designing golf gloves, and who was able to do some design work. And he whipped up a couple of designs for us. And one of them is what we call the Tactile Glove, which is the product we launched with. So it was marrying up those two, marrying up the design with the specific fabrics that we had called out.
It's a lot. I mean, like this is the thing. I don't think people understand is like Clinch is not making like the glove that you already are used to seeing. Like that's easy. I mean, it's not easy, but it's like you can find a factory, bazillion factories that make that glove, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the crapshoot is like, is it the right factory that's not a crap material? Is it going to bleed through? Right. This is when it comes to leather, right, or whatever, fake leather. But there's plenty of places to do that. But essentially, Clinch is remaking the glove. Like, it's not that glove. It's a completely different glove.
Yeah.
So that's a whole process, right? Because you have to, like, you're starting from scratch, because you're like, what's the material? What do we want it to do? It has to look good. It has to last, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, the material is the core thing. You know, we had a number of like what we call minivations, like about, you know, how you take the glove on and off, whatever. But really the palm material is the core of our product, in terms of just, it's, you know, it's got a little more stretch to it, so it retracts if it's quick to dry. It grips when it's wet. In fact, I prefer, when it has a little moisture to it. I feel like it grips a little better, and it's incredibly durable. Is the other thing. You know, it just doesn't wear out. And I say that, you know, of course it does wear out in time, but we, you know, on average, you know, we say that it lasts, you know, typically 2 times as long as a leather glove. But really, we have people using them time and time again. And you know, in fact, we have a photographer friend that we work with, who we had doing our sampling, so our original run before we were in production, and he's still playing with his original glove. So
Shut up, for reals?
they are, and this guy golfs all the time, so they are incredibly durable. And then part of that, like what we call minivation, is that unlike a leather glove, these are washable. So if you know, if they're getting old because of, you know, little oil on them, or you know, they've had encountered a lot of sweat, you pop them in the washer on a gentle cycle and air dry them, and they really just come back to life. So we got people, you know, playing, you know, dozens of rounds with them, before they need to be refreshed.
So let's talk about the material. So, like, how is this glove made? So, like, what are the different pieces, I guess?
Yeah, there's essentially 3 different materials, and if you click to that palm image,
This one? Or
yes,
down
that
here?
one. So that's sort of the core of the material that encapsulates all of the, like, that side of the hand, and that
Sticky,
is,
like the sticky and the gripping and
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, that's got a little bit of stretch to it. It it's thinner than you might expect. You know, we often get comments when people feel it that they say it feels thin, and I think that speaks to
Really?
their concern that it
Interesting.
might not be as durable. But then that's, you know, after a round with it, that's pretty quickly
You're like,
dispelled.
bro, have you like not worn a leather golf glove? That thing's like paper thin. I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
But
I
so
mean,
this
I look
material,
at it right now and I'm like, that looks a lot thicker. But it's interesting you're saying it's thinner, or
yeah.
it's not. That's cool.
So this is, you know, this is really the core material that, you know, we just tried different blends of and settled on the one that we think works best. But it grips when wet. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, so it'll retract, so it doesn't get that baggy feel that leather can get, or pleather can get, when it's on your
Yeah.
hand. And it's, you know, it's quick to dry, but it also does grip with wet. And then if you click to the image, maybe that gray image of
Here.
the top of the glove, and I'll get to that image in a moment if you want to.
Oh,
But
here,
if you
here.
want to the back of hand material, so there's 2 separate materials on the back of hand. So that's the palm, but if you go to
Yep.
that one right there. Um, the the area around the Velcro tab there is like a stretchy mesh material, and so that allows for quite a bit of airflow, which assists with a quick dry. Also has some stretch to it. And then the area that you see with the I guess the 3 fingers that aren't the index finger there, that's really just like a spandex blend that has some stretch to it and just feels great. Um,
It's soft.
it's soft, and we put that there just because it feels great. Oftentimes you don't even feel like you're wearing a glove on that portion of your hand.
So
And
like
then
this finger right here, and then the palm of the glove is the same material, right? It's like
exactly, yeah, and that finger is the same material as the palm, because if you think about how you grip, your, you know, if you're a right-handed golfer, if you think about how you grip with your left hand, oftentimes that is, you know,
Fingers, yeah, it's
in
covered up,
context.
right?
Yeah.
It's like this, and then this part of the hand
But
is gonna
oftentimes,
be
like,
touched.
this part of your hand is in contact with the
Yeah.
grip, so that's why that's made of that
Oh, yeah.
material. It's kind of
The side of it is definitely for sure,
yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
if you're holding. And then this material here is like the moisture wicking and
Yeah,
is it
it's
airy
really an
and stuff?
airflow, like, it's mesh,
Yeah.
and, so it's
Oh,
got some
that's
stretch
cool.
to it. It really helps with the airflow, so it's much more breathable.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why, and I was
Go
wondering
for it.
this, like, what made you, in terms of design, like, why did you use this material instead of that material for the top part of the hand? Is there, I was wondering.
Uh, the mesh is like kind of a design element that helps with airflow and breathability,
Oh,
but
I see.
we determined that it probably wouldn't feel great on
No.
the fingers, on the backside of the fingers, and it doesn't have it has stretch to it, but it
Oh,
doesn't have as
yeah.
much stretch as the
Like, this
spandex.
is soft and it feels right, like,
So when you
because this is
flex
like,
your hand, you know,
yeah,
the
I can
stretch
see
doesn't
that.
impede your stretch at all.
Because it would probably feel weird, right? If it was on your fingers and you'd be like, "I can see that.
Yeah,
That's
it
cool."
might it might. So yeah, that's really why.
So then, like, with this image here, like, what is this?
So we have what you're looking at there. The black pattern is what's called a TPU overlay, is a technical term, but um, inside the glove, in the palm where gloves often wear first, it's a little bit of reinforcement there. Um, it's printed on the interior of the glove, so you don't notice it from the exterior, and you actually don't feel it at all. Like if we didn't bring it up,
Really?
you put the glove on, you'd never feel it. It's not a
So
particularly
this is
sensitive
on the inside, like where your
on the
fingers are?
inside.
No
And
joke.
it does two things. Number one, it helps keep the glove snug on your hand. So
Oh, yeah.
it's got a little bit of
That's cool.
anti-slip property to it. So it's like a rubberized. So it keeps your glove snug on your hand and retains the shape better. And then it also just adds another layer there for that's just the most common area for a glove to wear out.
So is this on
Uh,
all the fingertips or just certain ones?
it's not on the fingertips. It's on the palm of the hand
I mean, the
where
palm, sorry, my
yeah,
bad.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
it's
is
on
it
the
like in
palm
this
trail.
area,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Exactly.
And that's on every finger?
It's not on the fingertips. No, it's just on the just right where it's pictured. That's like a blow up image. It's on the inside of that palm.
Oh, the palm, not the fingers. Oh, okay, my bad,
Yeah,
my bad. It's like in this area. Oh, that's cool.
yeah, like right where you typically would wear a glove out. That's where it
Yeah,
resides.
exactly. Oh,
Yeah,
so does that also help with, like, just the wear as well? Because
it
it's
does. Like
more, like,
that will
strengthening it?
wear that stuff will wear before the fabric wears, and so it's sort of a um, sacrificial
Lamb?
product there. So that
Yeah.
does help. It does help with glove wear. But again, like it's super thin and like just like as a tactile experience, you wouldn't notice that it's there.
That's really cool.
And then the
So
other thing,
then, oh, go
if
ahead,
you
sorry.
go back to the top of the go back to the image of the glove from the back of the hand image, like showing the
Change the
Velcro
color?
tab.
The
Yeah,
Velcro
right
tab.
there.
This
So
one?
yeah, one other distinction. Yeah, any of the colors is fine. They're just different colorways. The green one is great because do you see the on the Velcro
This
tab?
one?
You see the green kind of semicircle there.
Yeah, what is that?
So that's an idea that Jason came up with. So like in doing our research, we discovered that golfers tend to take their gloves on and off. Many golfers don't wear their gloves to putt,
Yeah,
which
exactly,
means
yeah.
you're taking on and off on every hole. Which between taking a break, doing something else, you're taking your glove on and off sometimes like upwards of 25 times a round. Um, if you think about it, like on an alarm car five, you're walking on the fairway. Some people just take the glove off. Like that is a rubberized tab that is like really distinct from the Velcro feel. It's a minor minivation, but it makes on and off really easy. And we found like with brand X typical glove where it's the same material that resides, like the same leather that is on top of the other, like leather. It can be hard, at first
To pull it off.
glance, not looking at it, they can be hard.
Yeah.
And Jason had an experience once where he was tugging at it and the bottom portion of the Velcro came off of another brand of glove. And so we thought that having like an easy on off tab would
smart.
just
I mean, I've
present it.
had it too where you've like pulled on this. Like I've had this happen where you pull on the Velcro and it rips, like
Yeah,
the whole assembly rips off the back of the glove. And you're like, oh, there goes that glove.
yeah, that's exactly what what this is designed to avoid, and just to make it, that much easier to take on and off.
And also try to get your finger underneath there and just pull it off real quick instead of like trying to dig at the Velcro, right? And
Yeah.
like get it off. That's cool. So then so you launched when did the site go live?
May of 2022.
Okay, so like a year ago. And then
Just a
what
little bit.
was the original launch? How many colors did you go with?
We had 3. We didn't have the green color at that time. We had the gray, the black, and the blue.
What is your most popular color?
Gray is our most popular color, the gray on gray.
Really interesting. So I guess one thing I noticed, so like you have 6 sizes really, right?
Yeah.
Extra small, medium, large, extra large, double XL. What made you decide not to have to go with like all the cadet sizes? There's like a bazillion of them, right? And there's like that's one thing I noticed too. I have a couple golf club companies on the show, and it's like, is like this is the thing I think people don't understand either is like there's like a billion sizes when it comes to golf clubs. Like because if you have all the cadets, you have all the normal, and then if you want to add kids and women, you just tripled it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's really a hard decision. So like how did you guys come up with like just having the sizes you have and why?
Yeah. Well, the very candid answer is that you want to limit for taking a stab at initial inventory, having 25 sizes is daunting.
Exactly, right.
The other part of it that's equally true is that our gloves, a very common glove size is the ML size, which you notice that we don't have either, and it's really because our glove, all 3 elements of our glove, of all 3 pieces of fabric, have stretch to them. So the reason you need a cadet sizing in a leather glove is that there's no retractability there.
There's no in between size.
Yeah. And our gloves have some stretch to them. I myself I typically wore an ML glove in Brand X's glove, and I find myself I can wear both a medium and a large in the Clinch glove, and they both feel pretty comfortable. There is a notable difference in the sizing, but the stretch and retract properties, just allow us to have a smaller range of sizes. And Smart. You mentioned that you had some dabblings in the glove business. So as you know, you have these sizes, and then you have the rights for your left-handed golfers, and
I forgot the left hand. Then you double it again, right? So you like
double it again. So
triple, and then you got to double it because you have lefties too.
So you're like medium, large, extra large left-hand gloves are 90% of what we sell, or 85% of what we sell.
Like no one buys extra small, double XL, and you got to like if you buy 100 gloves.
We do sell them, but like the distribution chart, it's a pretty steep bell curve.
So let me answer a generic question, right? So if you, let's just pretend not you guys, but like, let's say you're gonna buy 100 gloves, right? Like of whatever. How would you distribute the sizes based on a 100 glove order, just based on what you know now with what people purchase?
Yeah, it would be something like large 40, extra large 20, medium 25, and then XXL and small and X.
5 and 5 and 5. Yeah.
Kind of as few as our factory let us order. It's basically the answer.
I was telling Matt, I was like, dude, I had this horrible story. Like, I'll never do gloves again because like the gloves I had bought, they weren't bad. They were just very inconsistent. Like some did this, some didn't. And which one was what? And like it looked good. I spent all this time and money doing it, but like, the sizing sucks. And then also like I guess the other issue too, we were talking about on the show before the show is like okay, so like they have green, blue, and well, I can't even see that on another screen.
Black and gray.
What colors you got? In black and gray, right? But like because this material is not leather, you don't have to worry about it bleeding, right?
Right.
Like with a leather glove, you had that, it could happen.
Yeah, we get images of people who get, some of those like, there's other brands that have come out with, it's more frequently on the market now. There's colored golf gloves and they look cool. I like some of them,
It looked really cool. I
but
mean,
bleeding,
G4 started all that.
bleeding is an issue with at least with some of them. And the more sweat or rain or condensation is a factor, the more that's likely to happen.
Which is going to happen every single time you play golf. It's not like, your hand's not either. When is your hand not going to sweat, right?
Yeah.
So like in Arizona, my hand's going to sweat, but it's not going to rain, and it's vice versa where you live. So it's like it's always going to get wet. That's why it dries out. So it's like,
yeah. Well, thank you. That's like a foundational principle of our company is that moisture is always present in the game. People think
it'll
like,
never,
I
it'll never
only
not
need
happen.
that for when it's raining, but it's not true. It's, there's always, you're always getting wet in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I mean, so how did you initially, so you come up with Clinch. I do like your, two things I like about this. One, I like the way you did your Clinch logo. I think it looks really cool. And, the wording, the cursive looks really good. And then also the logo is really cool. I've seen that logo before though. Not saying you guys took it from somewhere, but like I've seen your logo somewhere. I know I've seen that. It looks so, good job on marketing.
Thanks.
So how did you initially market Clinch? Like, how'd you get it out there?
Yeah. So we have, we launched and are still primarily a direct to consumer brand. So we launched with a website and a few dollars of advertising and the help of a PR person who's worked with some other golf brands that are based here in town in Portland. And we, Jason and I went, had a date that we're going live, and we, worked furiously to get our images and get our site together and get our advertising together. And we did a, sort of a soft launch, and, we're prepared. We had no idea what to be prepared for. And we had a great first couple days, but
Really?
we were fulfilling orders primarily to Oregon and New England, where we had a lot of connections. So it was a lot of friends and family buying product in the early days.
Okay.
But then we, just got better and better at digital advertising. Still a work in progress there, but
Yeah, of course.
Clinch has found its home online, and we sell to all 50 states. Sold, we don't do any international marketing, but we've sold a bunch of gloves to all of the nations you think of that have golfing cultures, like UK, Ireland, Australia, Korea, Japan.
That's hard though too, right? I feel like with a brand like international, even outside of US, like even going to Canada, like it's so much more expensive.
Yeah.
For
We've been
the
surprised,
consumer, right?
yeah,
For
shipping to South
and
Korea is
duties and all that other crap. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Really
like, what do you
starting.
do? That's a hard decision, right? I think for any brand, it's like, do we just stay lower 48 or do we actually like go outside of our territory? And then like, how do you guys do that? Like if someone orders it from a foreign country, let's call it, like, do you just probably cost more for shipping and they have to pay their own import duties if they decide to buy it, right? Pretty
Yeah,
much.
I mean they, our site is hosted on Shopify, which adjusts the shipping costs for the consumer, and so they pay the shipping. And honestly, some of the price tags that we've seen to ship something to, Japan, for example, it's pretty eye popping that that we're it's more than the cost of the glove to get it there, but people are willing to absorb it and try it out. Thankfully.
Yeah, that's the hard part. I always feel it's so hard because like,
Yeah, we're to be clear, like our focus is domestic in the U.S. right now.
oh yeah,
We're trying to build the brand here, and then if that's
one time I
that's a
had somebody order a bunch of stuff from me and from my other shop, and like the dude, like it went to Canada, and then the dude was like, "Oh, the import duty is like $100." I'm like, "Bro, you bought like 50 effing towels. Like, what do you expect? Like $100? Like, get over it." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna return it." I was like, okay." So he rejected the order when it went because he wouldn't pay the $100 in import duties. Well, that wasn't part of the deal. I'm like, dude, I told you to pay your own import duty taxes. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
all right, so you're gonna return the entire order back to me. I was like, okay, whatever, that's cool. I don't know. I just feel like international is tough. I feel like, and I get
Yeah.
hit a lot. Like, why aren't you shipping into wherever? I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. But I
Let
guess
me
if you
tell
can
you
figure
the
it
most
out.
humorous international story I've had so far. So our somehow, some way, the like Google My Business got linked to my home address,
Oh
which I probably
no.
did in the early days when I was setting it up. And I live in the city of Portland, but in like a residential neighborhood. And so if you clicked on Google Maps, you'd see Clinch Golf pop up
It's
over
like your
my house.
house. Oh
Yeah,
god.
and I was out and about doing something one day, and my wife calls me and tells me that three Japanese guys knocked on the door, and my wife answered.
Really?
They were like, "Clinch Golf."
Oh my god,
So
that's crazy.
she wasn't quite sure what to do, so she tried to give them my phone number, but I never actually connected with them. But it was
It's
pretty funny.
crazy they like came and
Yeah,
saw you. Like that's
yeah,
nuts.
yeah.
Maybe watch they want to be like your international distributor from Japan.
You
And
know, I
just
may
like
have missed a
you
massive.
could be like you could be like the most popular glove in Japan right now, but you're in a home. That's kidding.
Sorry.
That's so when like with your apparel stuff, like when did you guys start doing apparel around the same time? Like your hats and your shirts
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah. We launched like to this day, like our focus is on the glove.
Of
That's what we're.
course.
But we wanted to have some gear, and so we whipped up some hats and some hoodies and some t-shirts, and we've got ball marks and tees and all the swag. And I like a lot of it. The hats are cool.
That's
The
cool. Yeah, I agree.
hoodies really nice. But in there are like discussions about where we might go next with the brand. But those are really accessories, and the core of what we do is really built around the glove. That's what we stand for.
No, I think that's really cool. So then are you only on the site on your site right now? Are you trying to get in big box retailers or are you trying to get on Amazon or what are you doing?
Yeah. So pretty much on the site now, we have a couple of local shops that carry our gloves. We've had like a fantastic experience where we keep on restocking them and restocking them and restocking them.
That's
We've
cool.
got, I'll give a shout out to, there's a organization called Northwest Golf Guys here that we've become friends with. They run amateur golf tournaments throughout like Portland, Seattle, and California. And the prize money you get from these tournaments gets spent on their site. So they sell our
Oh, that's
product.
cool.
So that's another way
That's
to go to
really cool.
market. And we have just recently signed a sales rep who's going to get our product into, he has like a Pacific Northwest territory. And so he's on the road right now. He reps a bunch of other cool brands, and we're on his roster right now. So we expect that by spring of 24, we'll be in a number of shops in this area. And then, we're quite frankly, we're a self-funded, bootstrapped organization, so we're going to take a staggered approach to going national.
Oh no, yeah.
Earlier
You
this
only can
year,
spend you only can spend what you have, right? It's not
yeah,
like you can just go crazy on it.
yeah,
Um, have you considered Amazon or no?
we have, and we'll probably get there. We have plans around it, but we're not there yet. It's as it's got pros and cons. Pros being it's the largest marketplace the world has ever known.
Their
But
largest search engine.
yeah, but we take some of the control away of the customer interaction, and
Yeah.
right now we're super close to our customer when you order from clinchgolf.com. Like, we try to treat the client right. Like, we oftentimes send a handwritten note, we throw some teas in there, and we
Extra
like
stuff, yeah. You're
stuff
excited, you're like, "Thank you for buying my
yeah, yeah,
product."
thank you,
Like,
yeah,
it's your
and like,
baby, right?
yeah,
Like, you're
if
just like,
you
"Hey,
have
thank you."
questions or comments, contact us, me or Jason directly. And so, going to Amazon, removes some of that from our control. But we're also doing, frankly, that the goal is to create a viable business out of this. So we probably will get there, but we're just trying to do it in a thoughtful approach.
Yeah, it's a whole other beast. too. I mean, you have to learn it, right? It's not like you just do it. Like I have a couple of my friends are on Amazon and they're extremely successful at it when it comes to golf. But it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it takes years to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And the cost to it, like, I mean, I don't know. See, yours is $25 for a glove. Like, you probably spending. I bet they're probably gonna get $8 out of that. Amazon would on every sale, just like off the top. So it's like 90
Yeah.
down to 17. So you guys are doing the math backwards. So it's like, it's this weird balance. I mean, it's nice to have FBA and it's like on automatic and whatever like that. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting too because I think like you're a new product. It's not like you're just selling another glove like everybody else. It's like I don't know. There's definitely pros and cons when it comes to Amazon.
Yeah.
So what do you guys have in store for the rest of the year? Like what's going on with you guys till the end of this year?
Yeah. So the retail rollout is taking up a bunch of our attention right now. And we've got a couple of exciting brand collaborations that I need to stay moot on who we're working with. But one of them should launch by the holiday season and one of them will launch next spring. And
That's awesome.
I'll be excited to share that information when we're free to do so. But it's going to be pretty cool. So we're excited.
So are you doing this full time? Like this is
Yeah.
your full time gig now? Like it's not
Yep.
you're not doing the banking stuff, right? So like, what about Jason? Is he doing it full time or is he still working with his stuff?
Yeah, no, Jason does have another gig working for another, mostly direct to consumer company called Kane Footwear. And Kane is like a athletic, they call it a recovery performance shoe. And so he is kind of splitting his attention, but, we're putting a lot of effort into Clinch.
Oh, that's cool. These shoes are sick. It's like Kane's going after Crocs kind of, but it looks like a lot cooler shoe than a Croc. That's cool. Yeah, it's like it's good that you can focus. Like, it's the perfect pair, right? Because you can focus full time on it, and then like that. I have a buddy, another brand, very popular now, but they like did the same thing. Like one guy was an engineer, and he kept on doing it while his other partner worked on the brand full time. And then after a couple of years, when they got really ramped up and going, then he was able to leave his job too because it was like they're going like gangbusters. But it's really cool you're able to do that.
Yeah.
So where can people find Clinch?
Best place to go is clinchgolf.com. CLINCH golf.com.
That's cool. I mean, this glove looks really cool. I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
tested it out. I mean, I'm looking at it right now with you guys, and it looks cool. It's smart, very smart idea. I mean, when's the last time a golf glove was redesigned?
Yeah.
Like I
That
don't know.
was, Paul, that's like one of the, the things that when we talk to people about the glove that we harken back to is that like everything in golf has been innovated on, like think about the ball, the clubs that we use, the shoes, are notably different than they were 10, 20, 30 years ago. The clothes that we wear are different, the performance element of it. And the glove, and sure, there's like some cool new designs, like people dye in purple, but it's the same old glove. Like, and, the idea is just that leather is just kind of at one point, it was the best gripping material we had, but it's sort of antiquated now. And, we're pretty convinced that we've landed on the right product.
It's very interesting you're saying that too, because I didn't think about that either. Like, and you're right. It's like the glove has not been reinvented at all. I mean, that I've seen at least. It's like, I mean, reinvention could be like what different color, or they sew some stuff on the sides of it, or but it's still the same
Yeah.
product, same
Yeah.
base product. So, I mean, it's really cool that you guys are doing this and that you're actually you designed a new style in way of using a golf glove that was not around at the time. So that's really cool. Well, I also say thank you for being on the show today. You guys, this is a really cool glove. Like honestly, I can't wait to get my hands on it, check it out. I I mean, like we were saying before, my hands gets totally sweaty when I play golf here. I probably go through a glove, I don't know, after about 4 or 5 rounds, and then it's trashed. So I mean, to have something you can like wash and reuse, and the other thing too we were saying earlier with the in between sizes, like I'm a medium in some golf glove brands, but I'm a large in others. So it's like really inconsistent. So being able to like not have to worry about that and just be like, okay, well they'll fit. Both will fit. One might be a little bit looser or a little bit tighter, but they both are going to fit, and that doesn't happen with normal gloves. So I think there's a lot of really cool selling points here with the glove.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. If you guys want to check out Clinch, please check out his website, Clinch Golf. I think you guys need to check it out because this is really cool. And I will see you guys in the next episode.
Thanks, Paul.